Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, friends, this podium was built for Fabio, not for me, so I hope you will forgive if I stand out here and speak to you so I can all see you. I'm truly honored to stand in front of such a great group of friends, colleagues, and electoral leaders from Africa and around the world. I and IFES thank the INEC, ECONEC, SADC ECF leadership, our friends at ECES, and all of you for this opportunity. Today I will share with you our thoughts on raising trust in electoral technology, innovation aided by traditional approaches. I will expand upon the analysis I last shared in my plenary speech at the Bucharest AWEB Global Conference for EMBs back in September 2017. I think I'm invited to conferences such as this because I bring the counterpoint, and as a minority, caution and often enthusiastic range of speakers on technology. My daytime job is that of a general election manager, but I must confess that I'm also a technology geek. I'm passionate about how technology can best contribute to a better future for my and for your children. In my 20-something years of working on elections worldwide, I have led, assisted, and observed major technology projects being implemented. I've been the proud participant in success, and I have suffered in failures. It has been a sobering journey, and I'd like to share a few thoughts with you on why I think traditional thinking and approaches are fundamental for the evolution and implementation of electoral technology in the context of our overarching shared pursuit of more effective, more transparent, and trusted electoral processes and outcomes. For decades, many had hoped that technology would revolutionize how elections are conducted, replacing traditional paper-based approaches. It was believed that technology would present a dramatic improvement in voter identification, faster and easier voting, results tabulation, higher accuracy, increased transparency, integrity, and public trust, and comparatively lower cost. Unfortunately, this promise has yet to be fully fulfilled. An overwhelming number of incidents show that electoral technology have proven vulnerable to failure and security breaches, distrust by both contestants and voters, inflated cost, and legal challenges. In addition to actual vulnerabilities, electoral technologies are susceptible to misperception and suspicion, which can serve as a powerful tool to delegitimize elections. A tactic that is increasingly being exploited by losing political contenders and their high-paid, sophisticated advisors, especially in closely fought, high-stake elections. Electoral management bodies are under enormous pressure to implement new technologies by politicians, by civil society, by vendors, and by the misperception that progress or being modern equates to using cutting-edge technology wherever possible. Electoral leaders must resist these pressures and let good judgment and common sense prevail. At IFES, we sincerely believe that electoral technologies can indeed significantly improve the quality of the electoral process if wisely used to enhance traditional approaches, not as an immediate or wholesale replacement of these traditional approaches. We believe that traditional paper-based approaches and electronic systems both have significant advantages and weaknesses. Used together, they mutually reinforce each other, leveraging the significant synergy between the old and the new. An EMB should be proud of its performance if able to deliver a well-organized election that is transparent and trusted. The technology used to accomplish this should be secondary. For example, if an EMB can implement traditional paper balloting and a well-observed manual count combined with secure electronic result transmission and tabulation, that is reason for pride. There are many countries in the world that hold effective and trusted elections with pen and paper. Even better, for example, hand-signed result forms and tabulation reports are immediately made available online for public scrutiny and extensive parallel vote tabulation, all of which increase the transparency and the accountability of the process. One fundamental problem is that the discussion, decision, and implementation of new technology is too energy draining for many EMBs who have limited time and resources. Not only do many EMBs struggle to establish appropriate procedures and training for the new technologies, unfortunately, they also neglect to maintain their traditional mechanisms. These two factors together create immense risk for their elections. To illustrate such risk, you may recall what is considered the largest ever government data breach, which happened in April 2016, affecting 55 million voters in the Philippines. Voters' data was widely available on both the normal and the dark web and included over 200,000 email addresses, 1.3 million passport data of overseas Filipino voters, and 15.8 million fingerprint records. Also, that same month, more than 93 million Mexican citizens had their voter registration detail exposed online due to a misconfigured database. The examples goes on, and they obviously include the unfolding revelations on Russian industrial strength interference in Western elections. Let me assure you, building systems that are as protected as possible is no longer enough. Today, we must build systems that assume full penetration and destruction and can survive this. The last decade has been sobering when it comes to opportunity and risks associated with emerging electoral technologies. Now, more than ever, we believe that modernization has to be approached carefully. All available options must be considered, not only through a careful examination of existing technologies, but also exploring the option to create homegrown solutions that perform better in the national context. And importantly, examine the pros and cons of adapting or strengthening existing and more manual approaches. Many highly developed democracies have recently reviewed their technology ambitions and decided to stay with or even return to more traditional approaches, most notably regarding paper balloting. Examples include Norway, Australia, Germany, Denmark, and others. At IFES, we have a simple solution, which I should rather say suggestion. Solid patient management and excellent leadership when considering modernization and the role that technology play within this. Technology is not modernization. Modernization has many other facets. When introducing new technology, tried and tested traditional aspects must receive particular attention. It took centuries to develop the processes and procedures that make the paper-based system transparent and trustworthy. Developing similar processes and procedures for new technologies is much more challenging, but we often neglect the importance. Aspects of traditional approaches that deserve attention include a comprehensive legal and procedural framework, inclusive and consultative system design and implementation, transparent and audible paper and digital evidence, training and accountability, and building trust through public information and interaction. Yes, we believe that electoral leaders must demand a broader, more open and careful deliberation of technology choices. EMBs should seek to change the optics when introducing new technology into an electoral process from a black box into a glass box phenomenon. This means that there should be a public dialogue in advance of any decision made about which part of the electoral process needs focus, needs modernization. Particularly, we have seen a need for more open dialogue on procurement processes. In far too many countries, the only information made available on procurement is merely to deflect charges of corruption and favoritism, rather than seize the important opportunity to truly involve and educate relevant external stakeholders on the procurement process. Secure and safe utilization of technology in elections is a multi-stakeholder responsibility. Parliaments and governments should dedicate specific care and attention to this and make sure that changes are implemented properly and with due diligence. The IT community in various nations should be engaged in finding vulnerabilities and then in designing ways to fortify the systems. Civic society should take a greater interest in this sphere and develop technical skills to properly monitor and assess the environment. Additionally, practitioners and academics should work together to harness national and global experiences towards long-term improvement of this field. To inspire all of this, electoral leaders such as you can insist that the introduction of new technology be subject to a multi-stakeholder, comprehensive, well-resourced feasibility study. Such feasibility studies can be structured in many ways. We at IFES have strived to capture the best practices from around the world in our published methodology for feasibility study, where you can see the front page here. Important key features of such feasibility study include that the study is initiated with a formal, well-established basis for the effort, for example, in a terms of reference promulgated by the EMB itself. Convening a well-resourced facility study committee with broad membership, including external experts, civic society and academia, working in a transparent and consultative manner to build trust around the entire process and around the final recommendations. At the outset of the study, assessing the systems already in place and the actual cost of these, having a strong baseline to work from, answering the question, what problem are we trying to solve with the new technology? And through this, establishing clear objectives for the study. Identifying all potential methodologies and technologies, followed by analysis of all factors affecting the choice: functionality, security, total cost of ownership, required legal framework, EMB capacity development, training, voter education, and so forth. And important, and stressed by previous speakers, a well-managed and ethical vendor involvement, where all vendors have an equal opportunity to make their case. This can include a vendor fair where external stakeholders such as contestants are also invited to see and feel the technology is available, and again, build trust around the process. And towards the end of the study, conducting comprehensive pilot tests of 2 or more technologies in unofficial elections, scrutinizing all aspects of the proposed methodology in real life. If anything, my presentation today may have shown how complex, often misunderstood and risk-prone the promise of modernization through electoral technology can be. In order to assist EMBs to better study and analyze this conundrum, IFES, under our data project, will be adding a comprehensive and carefully curated list of election technology resources into the dedicated portal on ACE, the Electoral Knowledge Network practitioners website that we all share. This is to ensure that there is one updated portal where practitioners, academics, and others can go for resources for discussion on technology, on data security in elections. A preview of this resource list can be downloaded from the link that I was showing here and at the end of my presentation. and I can also offer that through the organizers. In closing, knowing how much information will be presented to you over these busy days, I hope you may remember these 3 key points from my presentation. Electoral technology is not a panacea, but if chosen wisely and combined with sound, proven traditional approaches, it can have a positive impact. Resist pressure from external actors, especially from vendors and from political contestants, and carefully approach the notion of having to be modern. And control the process by tempering it within a mandated, deliberate, transparent, and participatory feasibility study. Thank you for your patience with me. IFES and I hope that we can be of assistance to many of you in the coming years, and I wish you a really good conference.